The Fisherman Piping. A fisherman skilled in music took his flute and his nets to the seashore. Standing on a projecting rock, he played several tunes in the hope that the fish, attracted by his melody, would of their own accord dance into his net which he had placed below. At last, having long waited in vain, he laid aside his flute, and casting his net into the sea, made an excellent haul of fish. When he saw them leaping about in the net upon the rock, he said, "Oh, you most perverse creatures! When I piped, you would not dance, but now that I have ceased, you do so merrily." So let's look at this a little closer. So the fisherman had a lot of talent in music, took his flute and his nets to the seashore. Standing on a projecting rock, it sounds like it was a rock that sort of jutted out where he could stand on it. He played several tunes in the hope that the fish, attracted by his beautiful sounds, his melody, would of their own accord dance into his net. Like la la la, like he would literally be like, playing his lyre and and he would get these fish. He played his flute, and then he hoped that the fish would dance into his net, just falling in love with his melody. So he waited in vain, meaning he waited and it didn't transpire the way he wanted it to. Then he laid aside his flute and cast his net into the sea and made an excellent haul of fish. So the fish didn't jump into his net. He had to put down the flute and then cast his net out, but then the fish were in the net when he pulled the net back in. That's the picture I'm taking from this story. When he saw them leaping about in the net upon the rock, he said, "Oh, you most perverse creatures." So just like wacky, not perverted, but just like, just calling them wacky. We can look real quick what exactly perverse. Showing a deliberate and obstinate desire to behave in a way that is unreasonable or unacceptable. So just like wacky in action and behavior, contrary to the accepted or expected standard or practice. Unreasonable, wrong, difficult, unhelpful, obstinate, stubborn. Yeah, they're perverse. They're obstinate. They didn't jump in when he was playing the flute. He wanted them to. So he's like telling them, "You should have jumped in and didn't make me have to put the flute down and cast the net out to get you. You most perverse creatures. When I piped, you would not dance. When I was playing my flute, you wouldn't dance and jump into my net. I had to put my flute down. But now that I have ceased, you do so merrily." So there's a lot of ways to take this, and there's probably folks that know a lot more than me about Aesop, that can probably share a little bit more, and probably about this time period as well. Like true historians or people that have truly studied this, for hundreds and hundreds of hours. I've studied literature for hundreds and hundreds of hours in general. So in terms of like explicating poems and explicating these writings, I really take a certain joy in trying to unpack the meanings. But here, I just think it's a pretty straightforward meaning in the sense of just looking at it, comparing it to regular life. It's just the fact that don't be surprised if things or creatures or people, your sister, your mother, your cousin, your son, your employer, your employee, your business partner, your anybody, your gas station attendant, anybody in your life doesn't behave exactly the way you want them to behave. That's really what this is all about. It's saying, look, I planned on this. I planned on you responding this way because I had it all planned out. I learned how to play this flute, this great melody, and we don't get the subtext or the story around. We don't get a lot of details. These are like 2, 3, 4 line stories, little short fables. So the question is, had he already done this before? Does this always work usually? Or is this his first time trying it? But regardless, just because something worked one time doesn't mean it's always going to work. Maybe the fish knew that he wasn't sincere. Maybe the fish you know, figured it out. Said, hey, oh, he's just, trying to, I don't know. There's a lot of ways to explicate this from a lot of different angles and levels. Um, so I'm not going to psychoanalyze this fisherman here too much, but I will just say that I think this truly has to do with you cannot control others. You cannot expect that they're going to behave exactly the way you want them to behave. Even fish, if you're a fisherman. Thank you very much.